Pokemon fans are pissed, and they should be pissed off. So I actually had a glowing, absolutely glowing impression of Pokemon Sword and Shield. I am pumped to play these games. Now, when I mentioned how pumped I was, that was based on my hands-on experience. I had not seen the Nintendo Treehouse segment, which you are seeing on screen right now with over 1 million views, which isn't surprising. But what is surprising is you see that like to dislike ratio. 17,000 likes, 54,000 dislikes. But why? Well, let's sit back and discover why Pokemon fans are pissed together.
ただしここでこれまでポケモンバンクのサービスをご利用していただいているファンの皆さんにちゃんとお伝えしたいなと思っていることがあります。
But there is one important change from the previous Pokemon Bank service that I want to tell all of its users about.
これまでのポケットモンスターシリーズは例えばサンムーンではアローラ図鑑に含まれていないポケモンも、全種類をポケモンバンクから連れてくることができました。
So in previous games that worked with the Pokemon Bank service, you were able to, for example, in Sun and Moon, bring over any Pokemon even if they weren't in the Alola Pokedex.
でハードがNintendo Switch になって、ポケモン1匹ずつに対しての、表現自体も、非常に豊かになりました。
But with the transition to the Nintendo Switch hardware, with its, it being much more powerful, allowing us to be much more expressive with each of the individual Pokemon.
でもう一つポケモンはもう今では図鑑番号でいうとやっぱり800を超えてます。
And now we're well over 800 Pokemon species in the games.
でその中で1匹ずつ大切にクオリティを上げてバトルバランスも取って、限られた、開発期間の中で最新作をお届けするためにどうするかっていうのは、長い間議論を重ねてきました。
And at Game Freak, we really spent a lot of time thinking about what the best way to move forward was, really preserving the quality of all the different Pokemon, while also, taking into account the battle balance, having so many different Pokemon available, all within, a limited development time, so we don't keep fans waiting too long for every new entry in the series.
その結果今作から対応方針を変えることにしました。
And after a lot of discussion, we decided to come to kind of a new direction.
つまりですねポケモンホームとソードシールドの間を行き来できるポケモンをガラル図鑑に登場するポケモンに絞ることにしました。
And so what that means for Pokemon Sword and Shield is that players will be able to transfer their Pokemon from Pokemon Home only if they appear in the Galar region Pokedex.
No, you didn't hear a stutter. Only Galar region Pokemon that can. No, you didn't hear a stutter. Only Galar region Pokemon are able to be transferred to Pokemon Sword and Shield. Now, personally, I don't really care in terms of just someone who is more of an outside fan of Pokemon. Big Gen 1 fan. Hey, my Gen 1 Pokemon are going to be there. So I'm fine. My Pokemon Let's Go, Pokemon, they can come. Pokemon Go, most of them can come. My problem is that you can't do this, Game Freak. You can't do this, Pokemon Company. This isn't Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. This is your next generation of Pokemon games. The very first on a home console. And if you don't consider it that, whatever, very first in HD in terms of being a new generation. And the excuse you have for one of the most popular IPs in video game history to not include a feature that has been in every single Pokemon game is basically that it's too much work. It's too much work. It's too much work to balance 800 Pokemon, 800 plus Pokemon. It's too much work to work on all the animations. It's too much work in the given time frame. Then take longer to make the game. This has been a fundamental issue I have had with Pokemon for a long time. Not so much this particular one, since no other games had this issue, but the sheer laziness of the Pokemon Company and Game Freak, the lack of respect towards the Pokemon fan base. Look, just because personally, I don't really care about transferring 800 Pokemon into my game because I just don't have them in any game. I do think for those that do, this is a massive slap to the face. Look at the excuse they're giving you. Look at the excuse. We are not allowing the transfer of all 800 plus Pokemon because it's too hard to balance and because of all the animations and it would take too long. Then take the time to do it. And the thing is, I'm not alone in this thought process. Let's just scroll down and look at some of the comments. Top comment, that hype train crashed harder than the stock market in 1929. Again, I'm still excited for the game, but why be so lazy about this? Look, so we don't keep fans waiting too long for every entry in the series. We'd rather wait. Yeah. Honestly, for the sake of those fans, I'd rather wait till next year or the year after. However long it takes to actually do the games the way you've always done Pokemon games. So the real reason is it can't be balance. I'm sorry, I'm not buying the balance argument because you've been having these Pokemon in every single game. So you've already done Mega Evolutions and other things to rebalance everything. So don't give me the balance argument. The argument is you have to put them all in HD and you have to do all new animations for all the different moves. That's the real thing. You need to hire more people to get these games out quicker or spend more time developing Pokemon games. It's already bad enough that when you look at this Pokemon game, if you actually just look at the footage, right? I only played in a gym, and the gym was fantastic. But if you look at the footage out in the wilds, there are things like the one Pokemon not even flapping its damn wings and just being like this stationary moving thing that just glides over the grass. There's no updraft keeping it gliding. It's just stationary and moving. It looks stupid, all right? Can we just say what it is? It looks dumb. But that's in the game. The bike clipping through the grass. I know it's such a minor thing, right? Like, I wouldn't normally care. But you're in a game that doesn't even look like a current generation game. It looks like a 3DS game with more detail. And that's fine. 3DS game in HD with more detail. That's fine. That's what they did. But if you're going to do that, then why are you not at least providing basic features in a Pokemon game? That is what is so infuriating. And again, from my personal experience, it probably won't impact it much because I don't have all those Pokemon that transfer over. But I feel for you, Pokemon fans. I feel for you. This to me is like releasing what is supposed to be the next generation of Zelda games. And it turns out it's just the Zelda CDI trilogy, right? That's how big of a slap in the face this feels to me that this is. And again, the game's probably still going to be excellent. It still might be the greatest Pokemon game ever made, potentially. But Pokemon should be so much better than this in 2019. It shouldn't be. There should never be an excuse. This wouldn't fly at. This is how you know Nintendo's not in charge of this game. This would never fly at Nintendo. You would never hear the excuse from Nintendo EAD that they don't have the time to make the game the way they want to make the game. You would never hear the excuse with a major IP like this that they don't have the ability to do that. We need to get games out quicker. No, you don't. You would sell more games if you spent more time on each game. You want to get back to how Gen 1 performed, selling 20, 30 million copies? Put actual effort into the games. There's no reason that Pokemon Sword and Shield isn't more visually stunning. There's no reason you can't have all 800 plus Pokemon able to be transferred in this game, fully balanced with all the animations. There's zero excuse. None. And the Pokemon fanbase isn't buying it. Look yourself in the mirror, Masuda. Look in the mirror, Game Freak and the Pokemon Company. This is baffling to me. Nintendo would never allow this at their other studios. But Nintendo doesn't control Game Freak. Game Freak is essentially an independent studio. It needs to stop. It needs to be better. I am almost not wanting to buy Pokemon Sword and Shield now because I am not wanting to support this idea that the games need to be rushed out the door to make some arbitrary deadline. What was Miyamoto's famous words? a delayed game is eventually great. A rush game is bad forever. No, that's not inherently true of every experience. Some rush games end up being excellent and some delayed games end up being really bad. But in the case of Pokemon, let me tell you, Pokemon Company, if you delay your games and put more time and more effort into them, Pokemon fans are going to appreciate it. We don't need a new Pokemon game every year. Because that's what you've been doing. That is what you've been doing. Sure, you'll skip a year here and there, but it's basically every year at this point for the past, 12 years. I mean, look at the recent streak, right? Sun and Moon 2016. You had to have the Ultra Sun and Moon come out a year later. Oh man, that's not good enough. Let's have Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee last year. Oh, and now we have, after 2 years of development, maybe, Pokemon Sword and Shield on a platform that the Pokemon Company wasn't even dedicated to until a year ago. A platform they weren't even sure they wanted to put Pokemon games on. It's baffling, isn't it? We should be expecting better from Game Freak and the Pokemon Company. This is not some middling franchise. This isn't some indie game that's just struggling to get by and doesn't have a budget, to afford these kind of things. We're talking about one of the most popular video game franchises, if not the most popular, thanks to Pokemon Go, in the entire world. Billions of people have been playing something Pokemon at this point, thanks to Pokemon Go. And you can't afford better than this for your main line of games? Better animations? All of the Pokemon animated? Oh, we have deadlines, so delay it. Move the deadline. Pokemon, highest grossing franchise, right? Highest grossing franchise. Look at this. We're not talking hundreds of dollars or thousands or millions. $90 billion USD made by the damn Pokemon franchise. Pokemon can't transfer all available Pokemon in Sword and Shield. What are we reading right now? Please, Nintendo, delay the game. I wish that Nintendo would tell them you need to delay the game. They're not going to, because Nintendo doesn't have that kind of power over Game Freak and the Pokemon Company. Nintendo does have an ownership stake, but it's a stake. They don't own enough to exercise that kind of power over Pokemon. Because Nintendo wouldn't allow this to happen at any of their fully owned Nintendo studios. They would gladly delay the game to have a full experience. Because that's what Nintendo does. They just did it with Animal Crossing. The new Animal Crossing game isn't coming until March 20th of next year because Nintendo didn't want to crunch their employees and they wanted to afford them the time to make the game right. That's what Nintendo does. It's not what Game Freak does. They're all about that money, baby. Game Freak is everything that Nintendo isn't. Game Freak is essentially Activision at this point. They just want to get that Call of Duty game out every year. Get that Pokemon game out every year. Take all your money. And damn the quality of the experience. And it pisses me off we let them get away with it. I was fine with it in Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee at the time. It's a remake of Gen 1. I love Gen 1. I have some bias. I ended up really enjoying it. But I never thought we would get this kind of treatment in a full new generation game. Did you? Did you expect this? Because you shouldn't have. It hasn't been that way in any prior to even Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun and Moon, you can transfer everyone. So why does a 3DS game have more features than the new generation on Switch? This is the first legit new game coming from a franchise coming to Switch that honestly, well, I shouldn't say the first, but one of the first major ones anyways, that is less than the sum of prior games. I had to be careful there because Mario Party is an example, less boards than prior games. There's other examples as well, Mario Tennis, etc. But the point I'm making, of major IPs, it hasn't been this bad on Switch yet, until now. Scrolling down, more comments. When you're more looking forward to see how many dislikes this video gets than the game itself. Wow, that animation on the double kick 416. Worth not having a national Pokedex. Let's just glance at that animation quick. So Pokemon doesn't even do anything. Score bunny. La 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 la. Let's just throw a footprint on the screen quick and flash it. Let's throw another foot on the screen, flash it. It's terrible. We're in 2019, and that's what Pokemon is. See, these are the kind of things they could get away with on a 3DS. Of course they can get away. It's not a very powerful system. It doesn't have the ability to do these things. You could just keep rinsing and repeating, and nobody's going to complain. But we're in 2019. We're on Nintendo Switch, baby. We're many generations of hardware ahead of the dang 3DS at this point. At least with the power that is at the hands of Game Freak. And it's like, they don't know what to do with it. So you know what we're going to do with it? The game's probably poorly coded. God knows. But beyond that, the animations they have aren't even good. I mean, of course they can't animate all 800. They can't even animate the ones they have. Not properly anyways. I mean, where's the part where the flying Pokemon are just sitting out in the wild? Okay, here it is. Whatever Pokemon this is. What is this one? Wingull. Okay, so yeah, seagulls glide a lot, right? They glide a lot. High in the air, by the way. They don't glide a lot mere feet off the ground because that's not how physics works. But just this one, get out here. Hold on. Where is it? Is it after the Metapod catch? Or maybe it's before that. Hold on. Somewhere in here, there's a whole bunch of Wingulls. Look at them. What are they doing? What animation is that? Look at those Wingulls. They're just like 2 feet off the ground. Oh, it flapped. It flaps more in that opening animation for the attack than it does out in the wild. There was better animations of Pidgey in Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee than what is happening to Pokemon, folks? What is happening? I'm frustrated. This isn't even like the big issue here isn't even something that's going to affect me personally, and I'm so frustrated. It's time for Nintendo or somebody to kick Masuda and kick the Pokemon Company in the ball sack and get something done about this kind of crap. It's not going to change this year. You can forget about it for Sword and Shield. They're not missing that deadline. That's coming out. It's going to sell its millions. Probably end up being one of the best-selling Pokemon games of all time. Be praised for certain things, be criticized for other things, and they're just going to keep rinsing and repeating, and we're getting another Pokemon next year, and one after that, and one after that, and one after that, and a remaster and some other things in between, because they're just going to keep that cycle going. They got to keep that Call of Duty cycle going. They can't just take time to make it right. And you have those of us out there waiting for Pokemon Snap, right? You know, we want Pokemon Snap to go with that Labo VR. It makes way too much sense. Oh, you know, we wanted one back on Wii U. It made too much sense. We had the damn gamepad. Oh, man, we wanted it on the 3DS. It made too much damn sense. We have damn AR on the thing. We can't get Pokemon Snap for that. Heck, wanted it. It's almost better in Pokemon Go because I can take a screenshot with my phone. Oh my gosh. And forget about Pokemon Stadium. God, how long have we wanted a new Pokemon Stadium or Pokemon Coliseum? I get spin-off games. We can't even get the mainline games right. So why are we even thinking of spin-offs? At this point, the best thing about Pokemon in 2019 was the Detective Pikachu movie. Thank God for Ryan Reynolds and his performance. That dancing Pikachu meme, too, for 2 hours or whatever when the movie was leaked. Classic. Maybe the best thing that's happened to Pokemon in 2019. Anyways, you guys let me know what you think about all this whole mess. Are you like me, just frustrated that how they're just getting away with this, and they continue to get away with the lack of effort? I personally, I'm just disgusted. You guys let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. If you like this video, be sure to drop a like, subscribe for more content. We have a lot more E3 coverage coming your way as well, a lot more news and all that. Unfortunately, this is the one negative bit. I think this is probably the only real negative I have coming out of E3, but it is with a major game. And as always at Nintendo Prime, we are not just here to talk positive about Nintendo. If there's something that needs to be called out, it's going to get called out. This needed to be called out. It's been called out, I'm sure, already by many Pokemon channels out there. But I needed to call this out because this is a game that I was just praising like days ago because the demo was actually really cool. But the demo didn't include this. And I think I know why. All right. Catch you guys, frustratingly at this point, in the next video.